Social media is broken. It's like a cat's wet fart. Unexpected, messy, and for whatever reason, we tolerate it. But I, for one, am done. Lately, I found myself feeling angrier than ever and more disillusioned with the world after briefly scrolling on Instagram. So I decided to delete it altogether. But here's the thing, I used to love Instagram. So what changed? And more importantly, does the old version of social media still exist somewhere out there? And the answer is, well, kind of. In this video, we're gonna break down 3 things. What was social media in the beginning? Where did it all go wrong? And what does the future of social media look like? Also, I'm gonna be sharing 3 ethical social media sites that I found that can replace Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So stay tuned for that. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. What's the soup, guys? Some of you might remember a video I made about Instagram being broken, where I talked about the current state of Instagram. And surprisingly, a lot of you shared the same dissatisfaction and disillusionment with the platform as I did. In that video, I said I had deleted Instagram off of my phone, but still checked it on my computer from time to time. But since then, I've decided to deactivate my account altogether. And honestly, my life has changed considerably for the better. So let's see how we got here. And for that, we're gonna have to go all the way back. What was social media in the beginning? We're gonna skip over Friendster and MySpace since those 2 platforms have been dead in the water for a long time. But back to 2004, the Mars rover had just landed, I was entering 2nd grade, and Nintendo had just put out its goated Nintendo DS. Meanwhile, a young Mark Zuckerberg had just launched the Facebook from his Harvard dorm room with the promise to put all the Ivy League students together in one social platform. And honestly, in hindsight, pretty elitist, but whatever. We should have seen the red flags from a mile away. But soon, it opened up to the entire world in an effort to
just connecting to people.
And it was there where you had your wall, your pictures, your events, but most importantly is where you had a digital farm where you could trade livestock and crops with your friend Pepe from art class. At the same time in San Francisco, Jack Dorsey was working on a bird-themed platform where you could just shout out your random thoughts and opinions onto the world's unofficial digital public square. You could customize your profile, choose your favorite colors, and follow your favorite celebrities to see what they were up to. It was honestly a great way to see what everyone was thinking and saying. You could keep up with Liam and Noel Gallagher's bickering and lose all hope of an Oasis reunion ever happening, or watch now disgraced Kanye West ask Justin Bieber if he liked paw-shaped Cheetos. Then, fast forward to 2010, where Instagram was just being launched by Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, and you could only upload 1 picture. That's it. No fancy wall, no events, and sure as hell, no fucking poking. It was just a front page with your friends' pictures, an explore page, an activities tab, and your profile. A year later, Snapchat mixed it up with disappearing photos and stories. And just 2 years later, in 2013, in response to the limitations of Instagram, Vine was created. A short 6-second video sharing app. It was exactly like Instagram, but with video instead of photos that gave way to all-time classics like
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
What the fuck is up, Kyle? No, what did you say, dude? What the fuck, dude? Step the fuck up, Kyle.
And guys, this was a really fun time to be on the internet. There was a wide, diverse ecosystem of different social media platforms, each with its own thing. You wanted to give your opinion on how bad Call Me Maybe was and confuse Katy Perry with Carly Rae Jepsen? Twitter. You wanted to post a picture of your unicorn latte from Starbucks with 10 filters? Instagram. You wanted to send a risky, slightly embarrassing selfie of yourself to your crush? Snapchat. It just felt like everything was fun and possible, and you could express yourself in different ways on different platforms. You would pop in and out of them here and there, but ultimately, they revolved around your life, not the other way around. They were like Batman's utility belt. Different gadgets for different situations. But nothing gold can stay. Where did it all go wrong? Here's the thing. These new, simple, uncomplicated social platforms were gaining more and more popularity with the younger generations, and people kept migrating to these new platforms on a daily basis. While Facebook was becoming increasingly unpopular with millennials and a very young Gen Z, while having a chokehold on boomers and older generations, and Marky Mark, or Mr. Zuckerberg, or the Zuckinator, or Zuckalicious, was having none of it. Mark was fuming. He was scheming. He was plotting on how he could ruin the fun for everyone. How he could become the chairman of fun. How dare all these creative minds and different opinions take the spotlight away from him. So he decided to do what any other spoiled rich kid would do. He bought everyone else's toys. And those who wouldn't sell them to him, he would copy them and implement them into his platforms. He bought Instagram, and when he saw that Twitter bought Vine, he decided to copy that and put videos into Instagram as well. He stole stories from Snapchat and disappearing messages. And if people weren't going to use his Facebook pokes anymore, he was going to poke everyone whether they wanted it or not. And eventually, TikTok launched, and their algorithm was addicting, like nothing we'd ever seen before. And social media took a turn. It wasn't about connecting with your friends anymore. It was about keeping you glued to the app, feeding you what it thought you wanted to see. There had never been anything so unapologetically addicting. Meanwhile, Vine died. Snapchat became that weird corner of the internet where you send risky texts and photos. Twitter morphed into this toxic cesspool of just absolute hate and disinformation. So much so, it attracted the most hateful, insecure tech bro of them all, Elon the Box Musk. He decided Twitter wasn't hateful enough, so he bought it, ripped off the guardrails, and flung the doors open for racists and trolls galore. Eventually, the two lonely nerds, Elon and Mark, wanted to fight to see who was the loneliest, most horrible nerd of them all, and also to see who could do the most damage to the fabric of society. Social media got monopolized. The once diverse ecosystem collapsed into the hands of these two small men pretending to be giants, with now rebranded Meta and X. And with almost everyone in existence under their umbrella, they decided to lean even harder into what they knew worked. The one guaranteed thing to keep people hooked: misinformation and outrage. And Zuckerberg learned it with Facebook. He turned that platform into a boomer rage machine. And Elon figured it out by falling from the graces of everyone. It's hard to remember this, but at some point, Elon was regarded as the real world Tony Stark. But as he started sharing his hateful thoughts and racist points of views, he fell from everyone's graces. And when he did, we'd start yelling at him nonstop, which caused him to be even more inflammatory, getting more attention. So both of them just doubled down, competing with TikTok by keeping you engaged through outrage alone. So what does the future of social media look like? And to be honest, this is the trickiest question to answer because we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. But as Meta and X lean more and more into being absolutely deplorable, more and more people are leaning to limiting their time on these apps or deleting them altogether. Me being one of them, of course. And before I left Instagram, I tried turning off the political news option, thinking that maybe would fix it, but spoiler alert, it didn't. And the fact that Instagram quietly turns on that option on default without asking you is super fucking sketchy. Even with that option turned off, the app kept feeding me rage bait and more rage bait and more rage bait. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, both of these platforms are doubling down on AI chatbots and AI content, trying to replace real human connections with company-approved bots designed to step into every interaction. The app is no longer connection. It's literally isolation and keeping you on the app enough to sell you whatever it thinks you'll buy. And Mark's desperate push to pitch chatbots as a viable alternative to friends and family should send shivers down your spine.
The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like,
I would not trust this man with my burrito or with a glass of water, let alone my sanity and relationships. So here's how I see it going. Either A, we go full dystopia, Mark and Elon's Ready Player One hellscape, where they own absolutely everything and just squeeze us dry. Basically, if IOI actually won in the movie, if you've watched it. Or B, we see a mass migration away from social media and people choosing real life again. Cafes, parks, bars, actual human interaction. Fighting this loneliness epidemic offline, how it should be. Or C, the birth of ethical social media. Now I get that deleting Instagram or X isn't easy or doable for everyone for that matter. I mean, even for me, it was absolutely daunting. I travel a lot and meet a lot of cool people everywhere I go. So the way I would keep in touch with these people is through Instagram. And giving that up took a lot of convincing internally. But even then, I knew that the pros far outweighed the cons of putting Instagram behind. When I left Instagram, I started researching alternatives and these 3 really stood out. PixelFed, Mastodon, and Blue Sky. Let's start with PixelFed. If you missed the old Instagram, guess what? It still exists out there. No ads, open source, and ethical principles. Using it really feels like going back in time. But here's the problem. It's an absolute ghost town. I follow 0 people follow me. None of my friends want to download it, and it's not the easiest to set up. Then there's Mastodon. For those of you that miss Twitter but don't want to drown in misinformation, hate speech, and sketchy ads, same ethical backbone as PixelFed, no advertisers, open source, but again, same problem. I just don't know anyone who's on it. And then there's Blue Sky, and this one really does feel just like Twitter before Elon broke it. And honestly, there's a lot more people on this app than the other two combined. I don't know if it's as transparent with its values as Mastodon and PixelFed, but it does feel like a social media platform. And it's the most alive of the three. A real alternative if you just are done living in X. So, how has my life changed since leaving social media? Honestly, I think I'm gonna stick with this no social media thing for a while. Since I left, my productivity has shot way up, like an insane amount, more than I thought it would. I'm way more productive at work. I'm writing more. I'm finding the time to watch movies and TV shows. I'm way more present when hanging out with my friends. I research stuff I actually care about, and I don't feel like I have to capture or record every little thing happening in my life just to publish it. Again, when I'm with my friends, I'm just there. I'm present. My mind is not elsewhere. I'm not scrolling. I'm literally listening to them and just enjoying their company. It's wild to me how social media makes us think that we can't live without it. But honestly, not only can you survive without it, but you can 100% thrive, flourish. I think I'm gonna make a more personal video in a more relaxed setting so I can fully dive into this and tell you guys my experience on living without social media. Obviously, there's a caveat because I like putting up YouTube videos, so this is a form of social media, but I'll go into that a little bit further in that video. So keep your eye out for that. But in the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my face talking to you. And of course, don't forget to send this video to your local Birkenstock salesman or your Sears catalog. Peace.